Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round number 2 of week 7 of the PSS5. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined in the booth by frontrunner Jared Doucette. How's it going, Jared?
It's going well.
Yeah.
Felt good to win and to finish off 5-2. Thanks to Will, Will being a good competitor and really close matches. I mean, I got drew a little lucky, but it was fun to do, and it's a tough matchup.
Yeah, so now you have your rooting interest of a later match. I think you want Lanny to lose, right? And that locks you for first. That
Yeah,
was my math, but um so yeah, things looking good for you. And but we have a match that well, Jeff technically is eliminated. Álvaro has a lot on the line, and him winning this match actually puts him in a pretty good position. I think on my graphic I said that he has a win in with a question mark, but I think Lanny did a bunch of math today, and I think there is one permutation where Álvaro can win and still end up getting bounced in fifth. So not technically a win in, but very likely. I think 7 out of the 8 like permutations that he would win.
yeah,
Being
that
so.
sounds right. That sounds right to me. I think he had pretty good breakers. He had beaten Tom and Rich already. So if he can, you know, I think he's pretty good once if Tom loses for sure and he wins. Um, but having this win against if Jeff would just really help him out too, just to make
Mhm.
sure that he hits that 4 threshold.
Yeah, it definitely starts with a win. Like I don't know if any path involves him losing and him
No,
still
I
making it.
don't think any 3-4s are getting in.
Well, I mean it's
It's
well,
possible,
let me check the
maybe.
matchups again. Uh, so I guess in theory it's possible, right? Like if you because if Alvaro lost, Rich
Hmm.
lost,
And
and
Mike lost.
Mike lost, then someone one of the three fours would have to be in.
That's true. Yeah. So
So
they would all yeah. So me, Tom, and Lanny would all have to win. And yeah, exactly. So then it would come down to some wild breakers, and I'm
yeah,
gonna leave that to you.
yeah, it's something that I'm just gonna deal with. It's complicated and we have a process, but it's probably something that like the average viewer does not really care about. So let's jump down and look at the decks, and we can talk about what our
Let's do
players
it.
have in store. Uh, I guess I will take a quick moment to thank our most recent subscription from Jared Guy. So thank you, Jared, Jared for the subscription. I guess earlier we had a follow from Sturks MTG and then a resubscription from BK. So thanks everyone for
I,
the support. We
I
appreciate
I
it.
know all you wild mongrels have Amazon Prime. Make sure you use your Prime sub
Yeah,
for the Cloud Goat Ranger,
I guess
because don't let Jeff Bezos keep that free
so
$5.
if it doesn't go to me, go to someone. Yeah, just
Yeah,
remember to use it. Um,
absolutely.
all right, so decks have refreshed. Alvaro has his mono blue Stifle Knot, his blue red Tinker, and his mono red Ponza, while Jeff has red green Goblins, Parallax Replenish, and Survival Elves. Do you want to make a prediction? Do you just want to jump to the decks? Do you want to
Well,
talk about?
what's interesting is that I kind of had a similar decision to Jeff during this, because I played Alvaro in week 4. So and both Jeff and I have Replenish and Red Green Goblins, and so I brought the Goblins against him because I felt like it was pretty decent against everything. I know it's a great matchup against the Welder deck. I know it's like probably decent against Stifle Knot because it puts on a clock and can disrupt a little bit, especially post after the sideboard. And I felt fine with it. I felt like I could outvalue the Ponza deck. So I would think he's inclined to bring the goblins, Jeff. Whereas Alvaro, I think he might want to probably just bring the Stifle Knot because it's his intrinsically most powerful deck. So I think it could be that, or I could also see Jeff just really wanting to play elves and kind of smash a win with that one.
Okay. All right, let's jump down to the decks and see how your predictions fare. All right, Alvaro is going to be bringing his mono blue Stifle Knot. So
Yeah,
uh,
got one finally.
his something that he's very familiar with, and the streamlined mono blue version, trying to put a dreadnought in play. Um, I guess the biggest note in terms of just technicalities, he has a couple of copies of Powder Keg in the main, That kind of is a catch-all into certain answers. Like a card like Meddling Mage is a little less scary when you have a few more outs. Like before, it just used to be like you had to literally boomerang it or reality ripple it for one turn, and that was the only way you could like cast a Dreadnought if it was a Meddling Mage had resolved. And so now at least there's a few more cards that interact with it, and it interacts with other cards as well. So
Yeah, it feels a little weird to have Powder Keg in your Stifle Knot deck, because it only costs one. But
yeah, just
like you said, with Meddling Mage is such a problem that you kind of have to have something.
yeah. So Álvaro is going to be bringing his 12/12s, and we'll see how it goes. Gabe is asking about the poll on the winner. I guess I can bring that up after we figure out this next deck. Jeff is on Survival Elves, so
yeah, cool.
Super powerful deck. From the people who are more experienced than myself, I think this matchup is fairly close, and I think I've heard from a number of Elves players that like they don't mind playing against the Dreadnought decks. That you're powerful enough, you have a little bit of interaction, like you already want survival to begin with, and like being able to get like Uktabi Orangutan on command or maybe flipping a Nantuko Vigilante can definitely just buy you a lot of time. So, yeah, this deck I definitely could see interacting and lining up well against the Dreadnought deck.
I would love to see a resolved Biorhythm. I don't think it's going to happen because it's 8 mana and he's got plenty of counter spells, but that would be cool to see if that kind of fell down before he had the Dreadnought down.
Yeah. So I am just going to go to my screen to get this poll ready. Let's jump down to the match if you want to let our players know that they can begin.
Yep. They both keep 7.
Okay.
And I believe Jeff is on the play.
I don't know, like in game 1, if that like who that I'm more excited like to keep a starting 7. Like obviously the Dreadnought deck is very powerful, but also like the Elves deck can do a lot of powerful things as well.
Absolutely. Hopefully they saw my text and they're ready to go.
Well, it's okay. I am getting my prediction ready, so.
Okay.
All right. Who will win the match? So.
Don't know why they're not starting. I see the message was on Jeff's phone, so
It's okay.
maybe they're just having a good time. They're just enjoying each other's company and just hanging out.
I mean, that is something that's kind of been cool that like people have talked about it before, that they just enjoy the camaraderie that happens within the PSS. So. All right, you guys have a couple of minutes to predict whether Álvaro or Jeff will win this match. Do you have a favorite that you would pick in the situation?
I can honestly say I've not played this matchup from either side, so I'm not totally sure. I'm going to go with the Dreadnought deck though overall.
Yeah, my gut just says Elves, but like it's not a very strong gut reaction. It's kind of one of those things. Is like I feel like.
Okay, I think they're finally starting.
Both decks are very powerful, but I feel like Elves has answers. But I guess maybe I underestimate how quickly like the
there it is.
Like you just have dazes and counter spells and foils, and there's sometimes that you just can't beat the Dreadnought deck sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're starting off. It looks like with a Quirion Ranger, not the most ideal one drop, but still obviously good one.
Yeah, this is a matchup because it is pretty tempo based that I think accelerating your mana is pretty valuable.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
At least the game ones where you don't have as many interaction pieces from the Elves' perspective. The sideboard games, I think it might be a little bit different. Jeff is going to attempt for a turn 2 Survival of the Fittest, and Álvaro is going to respond with an opt. So that's probably the best, I think, response that Jeff. He's got a little bit of hope now. It's not dazed or foiled yet.
Yeah, not yet, but it looks like it's gonna hang out. Yep, it's hanging out. Oh wait, nope. There's the daze.
Okay. It got dazed. Yeah.
He untapped the island first before he returned it. That was very nice of him. Okay, well he needed that. Now Portent to dig, but a second survival would be good here, obviously, for Jeff. Probably pretty likely to resolve, but Daze is huge in especially without any Llanowar or Fyndhorn elves on
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
battlefield.
say like sometimes like the days like you setting back a turn might be relevant, but
Hmm.
when you don't resolve a survival, that's probably the one card that Jeff would pick to resolve so that he's able to out tempo the Dreadnought deck.
Yeah,
So I think I like Alvaro's position.
looks pretty good so far.
Well, Jeff's gonna get a mountain, which is always like a good luxury for the elves deck. That if you have enough green mana, getting the mountain opens up the opportunity for you to have those explosive draw or those explosive sequences later with the survival because of anger.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help us mana right now, but like you said, for later, it's huge. Well Wisher might change the clock if the Dreadnought gets down, so that's something to think about.
Yeah, and
In like a big way, could
well,
add 2 or 3 turns.
well, as weird as it sounds, like you might get to the point where you have like 6 elves in play, and you're just because you have a Curing Ranger in play, you're able to untap it, and you're gaining
Yeah.
12 life a turn. And so like that is certainly not like how Jeff like drew up this game plan, but definitely could be a point of like how he is able to kind of climb out of racing a 12-12.
Yeah, well, I think it's important for Álvaro to start asking that question every turn, and getting this down in the field is huge. And also like, because he countered that survival, it's gonna be hard for him to find that Nantuko Vigilante, so which is his best interaction piece.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, here we got Cradle coming down, so things could go nuts. Things could go nuts. I mean, elves just it could just do so much that you're never quite sure when it can just kind of win the game. Oh, here we go. Here's a big clock. Strange Tournament on the way back.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the Deranged Hermit actually, if you just like look at it as a blocker, it's 9 points of toughness if you want to get in the way of the. Well, also like if you just have enough like in theory to just block the Dreadnought and trade with it, that is not something that usually comes up.
You do currently, but I think the Well Wisher might be a little more useful. It could be, especially with the Ranger right now.
Well, I will note that like the squirrel tokens don't help with the life total.
You mean the Pegasus tokens?
Yeah, yeah.
I know Jeff White is a fan of the card Sacred Mesa, and so that's probably why he has those miscut like revised
Well, he
Mesa
won one
Pegas.
of the like winter derbies, I think, with
It was yeah, it was no, it was like the Noob Com.
Oh
I think
yeah,
it was a
okay,
new
okay,
con. It
that's
was
what it
it was
was.
like over COVID, and it
Yeah.
was a scryings event, and he
Mhm.
won it with Sacred Mesa as his win con, which
Yes.
is pretty sweet. Ooh, okay, the Well Wisher is going to be getting in there. I guess right now it's only tapping for 3,
Yeah.
but the fact that you can untap it and do it again
Well,
could, like I said,
I guess the notable thing is with because it's 8 toughness worth or 8 power and toughness worth of squirrels and 1 from the elf, and in theory he could untap. I guess he could untap 2. No, he doesn't have enough to like block the dreadnought. So that
yeah.
Alvaro knows that his attack could get in. Also, we talked about the powder keg and like getting rid of the tokens could change like the math in terms of denying that blocking option.
I think Jeff might even want to race. He's got a bunch of power on board if you think about it. Like that's a good amount to race, and like you said, he's going to be able to Well Wisher and get up. First of all, he can Well Wisher this turn because he can use the Ranger at end of turn,
So
and
if the
you
Kieran Ranger
gain
would allow him to
3.
return a forest, he's still able to pay for Echo because he does have a Gaia's Cradle.
Right.
So that would gain him
3 up
3
to
life.
10,
And
and then he could do it again next turn, at least once or twice to get up to 13, which again adds him gives him a turn.
very relevant
So
number, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this
So
could be just
I
like
like
a really
I like
interesting,
Jeff's
just
spot.
a classic race. Oh, there's a
There
powder
you go.
keg.
There's the keg. Now this clock is totally different, right? I think. Well, first of all, if you're Álvaro, you don't have to do it right now. See if he pays for it, which he probably will. Or actually,
I'll say the
do it
guy's
now,
the
and then he
cradle.
can't
Yeah,
pay for it,
yeah.
and then he won't be able to pay for it, right?
Though the
Oh no,
option
no, he still will.
the option of Jeff still gaining enough life to live is still on the table because the squirrels
Yes,
didn't add to the life gain with
this is
the
true.
so though I don't know if he's gonna have enough damage. Yeah, his is certainly less formidable right now.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. But I would use the Well Wisher to gain the life.
I think you
Okay,
have
he's gonna
to.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, untap, gain 3. and then I would probably in the upkeep gain 3 again to give yourself 1 turn for sure.
Yeah, so you might not want to pay Echo. Like 5 mana for that 1/1 is not necessarily.
Oh, it's gonna bounce it. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
that's another one.
That also, like, yeah, you could just
block. Oh, and he untaps it again. Okay, good play. I like that.
So yeah, just blocking here, like you only need to block 1 point.
God, this Elves deck is so tricky, so tricksy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you like look at it on paper and you're like, oh yeah, you just like do these like combos, like it's super easy. But then your opponent like interacts or like does different things, and like when you play the deck, it's just way different.
It's also just so much. Ooh, stifle the trigger. Oh man, we got this is awesome.
Yes.
We just got cool stuff happening. You know, like that. It's not normal. Like this is not just like bolt the elf or whatever. This is like we're doing different zones, like different triggers. We're getting like all awesome stuff.
Yeah, certainly things like that players might not expect. Like that might have caught Jeff off guard, and like he's still able to definitely live this next turn because he has the Well-Wisher.
Nice 5 mana.
I mean, like,
dude.
I mean, Well-Wisher is also something that you could stifle. That could come up too.
That could come up too. I think you probably still. I mean, you can still get him for 2 free damage, right? But I think the Well-Wisher. Maybe you try to. I would try to gain as much life as possible from that thing.
I think so. I guess you have to make the decision of whether you think the extra point of damage is more relevant or like the extra 3 life might be more relevant. I think the life, is likely more.
Because he'll be able to get. Oh man, this is where like if he just had that Llanowar Elf, like just such a difference. 1, 2, 3, yeah. But again, he's not that far from being able to, whatchamacallit again, from buying another turn from just gaining life. That's only 6 more. I think he's got 1 other card other than that forest. Bounce it, untap it. Okay, so he's got 4 cards and 2 of them we know. All right, so he's gonna get up to. Again, he's gonna get up to at least 20, and if he has a good turn next turn, and he again can redeploy the Deranged Tournament. Trying to redeploy the Deranged Tournament into 2 blue mana, those not the best. Oh, Álvaro just has so many cards. All right, so he needs to gain 5 more life or soak up 7 damage.
Yeah, this game would be completely different if Jeff just had like 2 early elves, like the Llanowar and some other random elf. Like he would just be him gaining like 2 to 4 life every turn. I think would really change things. Right, Jeff's gonna attempt the Deranged Tournament again. It's gonna meet a counter spell, so a different way, but the squirrels are denied, and now he doesn't have the option of casting it later.
Can he survive this turn? He can gain 2 and block. So gain 2, go up to 10. He can soak up 3, and he can go to 1. But then he has no board. So that's rough.
Yeah, the rest of his hand has to be kind of miserable, right? Like,
yeah, I mean the fact that he's had 1 forest untapped for a while, at the end of his turns, it means that he has not drawn like anything.
Okay.
Okay, gain 2. Yep. Bounce, replay.
Bounce a forest.
Bounce the forest, replay. Okay, he can get up to 14 again, right?
Yeah. You can go to 12.
Bounce that, and then he can use.
You can
get up to 13.
Or you could just block with the symbiote and go to 1 and keep 2 elves in play. But I guess I don't know if that's better.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he has to probably do it now because of Stifle, right? Oh, replay it. Good call. And then now he can gain 2 more life. There you go. Okay. Nice job, Jeff. All right, he navigate. But all right, he's still at 13. All right, but that's pretty rough. Spirit Guide.
We talked about the dead cards. That is not an angle we thought about.
That's how you beat Days. Good job, Jeff. Come on, dig out of this.
Yeah, if he's able to win for paying for Days with an Elvish Spirit Guide, that would be pretty epic. No, I mean,
he gets to attack for 1 too. This is great.
Alvaro's at 13, so I think he's feeling pretty comfortable. Though I'm trying to think, like, if you just drew survival and had a creature in hand, would you be able to win from this position? This is something like experienced Elves players would probably be like, yes or no. I know already. I've done the math, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'd figure it out if it happened, but
Yeah, who knows? There might be a way. He might have a second cradle in hand or something. Who knows? Like that could really power this up. Um, I know he'd feel a lot better if he had the deranged hermit, but like
yeah.
oh, that was exciting. This has been awesome. Like I
This,
said, this has just been like all sorts of cool stuff going on. Ooh, okay. He's gushing. Is this the main phase gush?
yeah, it's likely they didn't have any other islands, or it could be where he has foil, or both.
Yeah, it could be, but like oh, a second dreadnought. That's a good question. All right, that makes it tough.
I
Don't see
I
that.
mean,
Don't see that very often.
I think the ways that Jeff was winning was probably like killing Álvaro this turn with damage. So I don't know if that changes a ton, but
It's a blocker, but like
yeah. It's not off.
Scoop.
It's not often that you think of the Phyrexian Dreadnought as a blocker, but
No. Well fought, Jeff. No matter what, that was well fought by Jeff. That was exciting. I mean, there was some real swingy moments, like timely counter spells, some Elvish Spirit guys paying for days, and that was sweet. That was really
that was
good.
a fun one. Let's take a look at the sideboards, and we can kind of maybe predict what's going to happen. So the Survivals Elves. The sideboard is 3 Tormod's Crypt, 1 Crumble, 4 Naturalize, 2 Null Rod, 1 Druid Lyrist, 1 Caller of the Claw, 1 Uktabi Orangutan, 1 Elvish Champion, and 1 Genesis. I'm looking at a Crumble and 4 Naturalize and 1 Uktabi Orangutan.
Sounds great to me. I don't think any of the other cards really matter. Definitely not the Tormod's Crypt. Null Rod, nope. There's no Lotus Petals to even worry about. Caller of the Claw, he's not sweeping you. He doesn't have any enchantments. I don't think the extra power from Elvish Champion matters, but I mean, it could increase your clock. Cards that are coming out are probably definitely Battle Rhythm. I just don't see that ever resolving.
I agree.
Then probably there's a Call of the Claw main deck, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd probably cut that too.
Yeah, I would say like the one positive interaction is like a powder keg on 1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's got 3 ESGs.
Yes. So
that's quite a few.
Well, the idea I think behind that is the ability to play turn 1 Preset Titania can really change how explosive your deck can be. And if against a deck with little to no removal, which the Mono Blue Stifle Knot I would fit under that category, I can see the appeal of having a Spirit Guide still.
Yeah, but I think you probably do.
Yeah, I mean,
do you cut them to bring in Naturalizes? Probably.
Yeah, like certainly Naturalize, I think is a better card.
Yeah.
Or like more impactful. I don't know if there's other cards that I would cut. Like I don't know if like there's ever a matchup where you like take out Multani's Acolyte, but like this almost seems like one where maybe you could, because it's not like really an attrition battle per se.
No, it's not.
But I don't know. I think I am leaning towards the Elvish Spirit Guide. I mean, as kind of pivotal as was, like maybe you take out Well-Wisher. Like maybe the situations of like you having that Well-Wisher making a difference isn't that big, but I don't know. It definitely seemed like it did a lot in that last game.
The bottom 2 turns at least, right?
I feel like you could also take out like a card like Mastercore where it's just like a bigger body and like it doesn't line up well against the 12/12.
I mean, it's not unreasonable for this deck to generate 24 mana to kill Dreadnought.
I feel like if
you tell me that's happened, and I believe you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just feel like you have different ways to win if that's the case. So like just win with Kamal or whatnot.
Yeah.
All right,
let's take a look at the other deck.
4 Annuls, 2 red or 2 blue Elemental Blast, 2 Curse Totem, 4 Hydroblast, 2 Powder Keg, and 1 Boomerang. So you could make an argument for a null because of the card Survival of the Fittest. 2 Curse Totem. Curse Totem is great against the elves. I mean, obviously you can see Jeff's sideboard and know that there's Artifact Hate coming in, but like still definitely something that would slow Jeff down.
I mean, go back to Jeff's sideboard. There's no reason he doesn't bring the the Null Rods for Powder Keg. That seems pretty narrow, right?
Yeah, I don't think
he bothers with that. No.
It would be a plan. I can see like possibly like the thought of it, but like I don't know if it's something I agree with.
Fair enough. Okay, and then so then I think yeah, like you said, I think definitely on the draw. I think the anuls are coming in. I think the two powder kegs. So you're probably taking
Oh,
out.
you bring in powder keg over the curse totem.
I nope, you're right. You
Okay.
bring in curse totem. I think powder keg's probably still pretty good, and put that on one, it sweeps a lot of elves, right?
Yes. It.
Um, so but what comes out is probably like boomerang because you're not worried about there's no meddling mage.
Yep.
Reality ripple probably comes out. Um,
I guess the one benefit with reality ripple is you can play it defensively, but
true.
and then I don't know when you cut cards like opt or days is
I
days
think
not good?
you're on the draw, so you probably cut a couple days.
Yeah. Mike has said cut biorhythms. Yeah, that was the first card I think that we cut for Jeff. So
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get them going.
all right. Do you
Go
like
ahead.
one of the decks more in the sideboarded games?
I think Jeff just got a bunch of good sideboard cards, so I think that would probably be pretty helpful. Even
I
though,
mean, also like I mean, like both players are bringing like 4 copies of a card to interact with like the main piece. Like Álvaro has a null for the survival of the fittest, while Jeff has naturalizes for the dreadnought. But I think like when both those things are answered, I think Jeff's deck is much better at putting on pressure with a bunch of random elves, as compared to Álvaro is a bunch of counter spells and cantrips to try and reassemble that combo. So yeah, I think on average, if you have equal amount of disruption, assuming that you can resolve it, which is not something that you can necessarily assume, I do like Jeff's position. So
yeah, yep. I agree. Just because he like, I can't wait to see a Crumble do some work.
yeah,
I played Crumble on my sideboard over the rock one time, and I just when I got a dreadnought, I was like, oh man, that was great.
that
That was just efficient.
I always play really scared when I play the dreadnought decks in the sideboarded games because it's like whenever someone keeps a 7 card hand, I'm just like I just feel like I had to play the game completely different because like I don't want to commit 2 cards for them to answer it if I don't have a counterspell for it. So I feel like I need to play a lot slower and more conservatively.
Fair enough. Well, I'm excited to see what happens here. And by the way, I think we did determine that that was a Phyrexian Swamp as Alvaro's playmat with a Phyrexian Obliterator smashing through the wasteland there. Not quite sure. That's a modern MTG right there, though. But well, I can really respect the recurring nightmare from Jeff. That's a classic. I actually have that artwork on my wall right now.
Oh, I wonder how you got that.
I wonder how. Thanks to you. I actually I said this on the pre-modcast, but I just got my my recurring nightmare that's in my cube signed by Lobenstein
Okay.
from a friend. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of my goals is try to get a lot of my cube signed, which I think would be pretty fun.
I do like how you kind of added that you like the idea of getting your card signed rather than buying signed cards.
Oh yeah. Oh, so I sent them to my friend Cam Wall out in Portland. He was at this thing in Tacoma last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and there was a bunch of Magic artists there, which was pretty sweet. And so he was able to knock off a bunch for me. But again, I had a friend who was there, and like there was a story behind it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like buying a signed card doesn't interest me because first of all, like some people like it depends. Like like a Chris Rush, that adds value because he's passed away. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
with Quentin Hoover, right? But whereas like a Mark Teeden or Mark Poole or they've been doing the circuit for forever. Like it doesn't. I don't think it adds value, and you can even consider it just a damaged card at this point. Um, because they signed so much. But whereas Chris Rush signed like Lightning Bolt would just be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually I had a chance to get a signed Beta Bolt, and I really wish I pulled it off.
I try to think. I think I actually have only had one artist sign my cards in my entire
Really?
Magic history. That was at Gen Con in like Saviors of Kamigawa or Cold Snap just came out. It was Edward P. Beard Jr. Signed some Psychotogs for me.
He's
I did have a great conversation. It was like a 20 to 30 minute conversation with him, and that was really cool. And that's the part
yeah
that stands out to me. So
yeah.
I
That's one of my favorite parts about like LobsterCon is like getting the artists in and just having a good time with them. Um, priest with days backup with an extra land for days. Okay, that's huge. We didn't see a priest last game,
no.
so I think this could be a big benefit, especially with another elf that might get dazed. Might be a little too late though. All right, this is a lot of mana next turn.
Yeah, we'll see if Jeff can put it to good use though.
But he's just going to ask the big question here. I'm guessing that he's probably got a gush to a foil in his hand, because otherwise that'd be pretty risky.
I mean, it's one of those things. Is like you figure if the game goes on longer, who does it advantage? Like, yes, Álvaro does have a lot of card draw that he can shape his deck better than Jeff can. But if Jeff has a lot of pressure or a card like survival, then maybe just going for it is the answer, because you're gonna die otherwise.
True. Oop, there's the orangutan with plenty of mana for days. So you're playing around that, but foil is going to be a problem.
Yeah, that one's still on the table. So,
all right, we're in the tank. I think if Álvaro has the gush, he goes for gush and just try to dig it. Unless he has got a second dreadnought and stifle to back it up and doesn't want to waste it on this one, but 187. Boom.
yeah, that's definitely an exchange that Jeff feels very comfortable now.
So good. I think they finally figured creatures out when they figured out like the comes into play abilities. Just sweet. Oh wait, it's not an elf, so it can't bounce. I was gonna say if you can start bouncing the orangutan and like just like bye bye, you're never gonna have that thing resolved for long.
Yeah.
Oh, return, untap. Let's do silly things. All right, Jeff. This is like, this isn't lands in front, but like, you know, priests and elves down with the lands is always kind of like, what are you doing down there? don't be hiding down there. Come hang out with everyone else. Okay, now this is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 mana. Oh man, we're doing silly things now.
Multani's Acolyte is the nice draw engine here.
Mm-hmm. Back in my day, we had to pay Echo for our Elves that drew cards.
I mean, the nice thing is you probably just bounce at your hand on your opponent's turn, so you don't actually ever pay the Echo.
No, but the threat was there, and it costs 2 green mana.
I've seen a surprising number of Echoes paid with Multani's Acolyte and be like, I will block this Meddling Mage, and
yeah.
So sometimes it's funny, like it's just surprising how often you see like the cards do things that you don't expect to. We've seen it this match already, so
he did have a gush. Ooh, okay. This is basically saying win now. Bounce again, sure, untap.
Well, it's funny, like just one Wirewood Symbiote does a pretty good job of like kind of dancing around a powder keg if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I mean he only gets one Llanowar Elf and 1 Symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
Not great. And he draws so many cards right now.
He can even deny that Llanowar Elf if he wanted to return it on this turn.
Yeah. But I mean, the priests are the real threat here. But again, those can be bounced. All right. Jeff is doing crazy elf things.
Adding some mana. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana from the priest. He's gonna have a naturalized powder keg.
Yeah, and using it on a non-dreadnought, but he's so head on board, he could probably start putting down some threats and the clock. We're gonna start clocking? Nope. Oh, we're clocking next turn.
That seems to me that his indication of his hand is pretty good. Like if you're able to use a naturalize that proactively on a powder keg, Álvaro succumbs to the little green men, and we are tied up at a game apiece. I guess I could take this quick moment we had some resubscriptions here. We had Duress Crew, and then also Sedgenet Troll. So Gabe had gifted a sub to Kevin Costnerino, which is Robin Lund. We had Escobert had subscribed, and Caustic had said here to party, and then MTG Banding from the one had said hello, Premodern friends. So welcome everyone.
Welcome.
And thank you for the support.
Absolutely.
All right. Do we want to revisit the decks? Do we want to look at sideboards at all, or do we just want to chat?
No, I think we're good. I think we just want to chat and hang out. I think we're doing good. I think we saw what we expected. We saw the orangutan. We saw some naturalizes. We didn't see the annuls come in, but we saw I'm guessing additional powder kegs, but I'm not sure. Um, yeah, I think we're good. But good match so far. This has been good stuff.
So have you looked at like did you put the what is it, the horse in front of the cart, and have you been like predicting top 4 stuff and thinking about that, or you just I'll play this one week at a time?
One week at a time from now on.
All right.
For sure. Yeah. No, I just yeah, I wasn't gonna do too much, that far thinking. There was too many permutations of how tonight could go that
Okay.
could really screw some things up. So I was gonna let that just kind of be its thing.
Are there any players that you would prefer to not be in the top 4? Either you don't want to play against the person, or you don't like their lineup.
Oh, I like everybody in this PSS,
Yeah.
so I'm not. But I think I think I still have some damage from Rich Shea from week 1 that I would not like to play him again. He just left me like dead on the side of the road, just like hanging out in a gutter. So if I could avoid that again, that would be great. No, but Rich is a great guy, and is always a great player. I'm just excited. I would love to play Tom again. I think I think it would be fun to have a rematch against Tom, which seems fairly likely if we both make the top 4.
Okay.
And so I always enjoy playing him and Laney too. And so anyone who gets in is going to be a good opponent.
Sure.
And of course, my friends, Mike and Álvaro, and I know Will and Jeff are not in it anymore, but we'll hopefully see them another time.
Chad has asked, is the Elves deck running Tanglewire? No, this list is running Elvish Spirit Guide instead. And Tanglewire is like, this is a matchup where Tanglewire can give you a good edge against the Dreadnought decks, but it is absent from Jeff's list. Again, I don't have a lot of experience with the Elves deck, but my gut is like I like Tanglewire a lot, especially in the Elves deck. Like
so good.
You're able to develop your board presence pretty well under a Tanglewire. Like a lot of cards cost 1, or if you just have a Kyrian Ranger, you're able to like untap like lands that were tapped and like untap creatures that were tapped, and you still can kind of do your thing, and where it's not as much of a hindrance for you. So
I agree. I think it's a great Tanglewire deck because you can play so many things on board that it doesn't impact you. Gaia's Cradle is only one thing to untap. They have 1 land and a bunch of other stuff. I think it's very good. It's great against these combo and control decks. So this would be a good matchup for it because at any time the Dreadnought deck only has 2 to 3 permanents in play, 4 like max. But yeah, I think Jeff's off to a good start again with a turn 1 real elf, which I think is good. I always feel like that makes like his turn 2 plays, not able to be dazed. And I think the dazes are probably back in for Álvaro being on the play, if they were taken out at all. Which I can see taking out daze against elves. Like elves can generate so much mana, like the daze becomes pretty useless pretty quickly, right?
yeah.
So I think those are probably out.
And often you see your opponent like playing around them anyways, and so
yeah,
you kind of get the value without even having them in.
Are we digging? Oh no, we're going for it. You know what? Ask big questions. I don't hate it. Ask a big question on turn 2 and see what happens.
Yeah, the Vision Charm's going to keep it out of play, so a card like the Orangutan or the Naturalize is not available on Jeff's main phase.
It's huge. And then you also get to untap and have the untap step so you can hard counter something, That's enormous. It's going to take at least 2 cards, I think, for Jeff to handle this Dreadnought. So between those 4 cards, I bet there's at least 2, probably 2, could be 2 counter spells. From the way that he's playing right now, I almost feel like he doesn't have any of those. All right. It's because I think he would have played around days if he could have. Okay, we're going for naturalized now. But again, this is hard counter territory. Ooh, naked. Whoa. That's why he was tanking so long on that one. Okay. Naked Dreadnought turn 2. That's surprising. All right. Oh, he should have opted in response, right? Or maybe he just drew that. I didn't see how his hand moved.
It also could be like if he just doesn't have an island in his hand, then like I think the only card that could save you there would be a foil.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it looks like he didn't have another island. If he had a foil, then he could have opted for it, I suppose.
okay.
Okay, that's huge. I wonder if he had a. I'm dying to know what's in Alvaro's hand. Like, there's unless it's just a bunch of cantrippy stuff. I can't imagine how he had nothing for that, or if what he should have done on turn 2 instead. I wonder. Maybe it's like
Well,
a null and some cantrips. I don't know.
I guess if you have a hand that just doesn't have permission, you're afraid of the pressure that Jeff could surmount, and you not like having a dreadnought in play. And like if you're able to resolve a survival, then like it doesn't really matter if you have a dreadnought or not.
We got a spirit guide in play, everybody.
This is Jeff's like this is his mantra. Like I'll
Green
summon my
Grey
jump
Hammer.
home incinerators. I'll summon my Elvish Spirit Guides. They all come into play. They can all join the party.
Again, they don't know what they're doing there, though. They're like, I'm on the battlefield. I have a spirit guide. I'm a 2/2. I guess I can I run in with my willowy, wispy robes and just try to do some damage. They don't know what to do. They're not used to this. They go right to the graveyard.
Also, not flying.
Not flying. Yeah. Yeah, it's spirit guide. Maybe it should be in like intangible or something. It just shouldn't be blocked. I don't know, but it's clocking. Here we go. 4 a turn. We're on a 4-turn clock right now. Let's add to it. Oh, priest. Okay. I was hoping for another spirit guide.
We got a wired symbiote.
Okay, not much synergy with that right now, but
Well,
obviously
so
priest, but
Jeff has one card in hand, right? So he's kind of like, now my plan is I've disrupted my opponent's plan. Now I'm just like a beatdown deck. I'm trying to kill you. I still have
gray ogre beatdown deck,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
and then some. I guess they're not even as good as squires. Wow, four islands. Yeah, enjoy those. Oh man, Álvaro is just like losing to the MTG randomness gods. I mean, you got to be careful with those snow covereds. They're going to give your opponent that one life if it gets Thermokarst.
Yeah.
I wish Jeff played a Thermokarst. That would be amazing. All right. Okay. I mean, that's a thing.
Powder
But,
keg.
but the Grey Ogre gets around it. It's going to be hard to kill that thing too.
Yeah, I guess this slows things down a tiny bit. This powder keg. Oh
Ah, Orangutan.
no, it does
Oh,
not.
this monkey's having a blast. Oh wait, looks like we're annulling it. Oh no, we're foiling it. Okay. All right. I guess that's his only way to stick in this game.
I find it funny, like that how often the orangutan has come to target a powder keg. I feel like I would almost want to save it for a dreadnought because like that's how you lose. But yeah, if you're the beatdown and you want to keep applying the pressure,
yeah, he's the beatdown now for sure. I think Alvaro's down to 2 cards. I mean, he can gush and get out of this, I think, and put down a big dreadnought, but he's kind of now he's just done.
all right, we got a haymaker here.
We do have that's a haymaker.
Though I
That
guess
is
making tokens that die to the actually, this does kind of diversify your threats because the ones are pretty good and the zeros are pretty good.
Yep. So he's gonna have a decision to make. I mean, but those zeros are 2 powers. So whereas the ones are more synergistic. And
Do you want to know what else is 2 power?
Tony's Acolyte?
Elvish Spirit Guide.
Yeah.
Did he
That's true.
not attack? Are we thinking?
Oh, he's got to attack. I mean, you don't not attack.
I would say
Maybe
the symbiote doesn't do anything else.
the spirit guide.
Oh yeah,
The spirit guide just like it's getting its time to shine. It's going. Yeah, rumble. Yeah, there it is. Feel the pain. Attack for 4. All right, now Alvaro's got a decision. Does he want 1s or 0s?
I don't even know if he has the luxury to.
I think he's
I
got to
guess-
do the 0s.
I'd
0s
say
is
you
such a clock.
save more life, but yeah.
Oh, he's going for the 1s. Okay, maybe he's got another keg.
No, maybe he was playing for another keg.
More lands.
Oh, he did have another.
Oh, yeah,
keg.
he has a second keg.
Could he have not like lived a little longer? I mean, like,
I think he could have lived. He could have put up a fight here. I don't know why he scooped now. Pop it for 0, keg for 0, keg for 1, then keg for 0.
Yeah.
That's most of his board.
Yeah, I mean, certainly not a position that I would like to be in, but
No.
I think he has a turn or maybe 2.
I mean, he's not in a good spot, but like
Yeah.
I think he's able to live.
All right, let's jump down to the chat as Jeff has was able to take out Álvaro. So there still might be a scenario I think where I don't know if Álvaro could still make the top 4 with the loss tonight, but I'll wait till everything plays off before I make any determinations. But
I agree.
So
I agree. Let's let it all play out before we make any decisions here or predictions, because there's. I mean, again, now I think for Mike and Rich, Mike plays against Tom, so that would be a win-in for Mike. I'm pretty sure. He'll have breaker over Tom because he'll have beaten Tom. So that's a win-in for Mike over Tom. And it's a win-in for both of them. I mean, if Tom gets the 5-2, he's definitely in also.
Of course.
And then Rich, it helps Rich out too. If for him to beat Lanny. So yeah, I mean, this definitely, honestly, this makes it pretty exciting for the rest of the night.
Okay, let's take a listen into our players, as I think they're kind of debriefing their sideboarding.
I think keeping days would have been a good decision. Because not because of the match, but basically because of the way the match worked out. Because you only have 2 mana against for the neutralize on turn 2, I think.
So I did. That was a little bit of a bait though, because I had the Elvis Spirit Guide in my hand. So
okay. Yeah, I didn't.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have played that elf. I kind of thought I could get your days off, and then if you kept them in, and then just also get your Dreadnought. So
yes. But it's funny because you didn't have the much to do besides attacking with 1/1s and the 2/2.
No, I didn't. I actually kind of went into those games 2 and 3, almost just saying to myself, like, I probably will never get a survival online, because you're bringing in 4 nulls and you have foils, and there's like a lot of ways that you just deal with my 4 survivals. So I mean, I actually took the anger out game 3, and I was thinking about taking the squee out. I just didn't see myself getting that online. I don't know.
It was going to be tough for sure. Yeah.
I got to say though, I mean, you got real unlucky with the amount of lands you drew. But I love this matchup. I would just jam these 2 decks together all day long. I think it's so much fun.
This was a great match. That game 1 especially was excellent. That was super exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's interesting how cards interacted in the non-traditional ways. Like Well-Wisher was just enough where it was like really like just buying a turn was enough, and like the Stifle on like the Deranged Hermit was really impactful. It was really cool to see cards play in kind of different ways that we aren't used to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially seeing Elvish Spirit Guide attack. You know, that's exciting.
Yes.
I was thinking of you, Jared, because I figured it was just
the gem palm.
Yeah, the gem palm across.
We did make a reference to that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna attack for 2 with this 2/2 for 3. What a card.
Green gray ogre, here it comes.
Here it comes.
Yeah, it's funny because when I saw that, I was like, okay, yeah, I just need 1 gash to rebuild from here. And in the beginning of the 3rd match, I was deciding if I have to keep first keep the hand. I didn't want you to develop that much because I have 2 nulls, 2 islands, Dreadnought, Charm, and something else. I don't know what was that. And a foil. So I was like, okay, I just need 1 gash to be able to protect the Dreadnought, attack twice and win. Of course, I didn't draw that. I just drew islands, as you saw, and then you just start attacking with this 2/2, and I was like, okay, get me 1 gash, and maybe I can get back online. But I didn't. So
yeah, that was probably the worst impulse I've ever seen in my life.
The odds are like 0. That's really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you already had like 3 islands in your hand, and then you had 4 in a row, and like and you're only playing 16 or 17. Like that's
And I
pretty
started
low.
with 2, so like, it was like island, island, and I was like, okay, I wouldn't be doing anything here. So
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm used to your deck having more protection for your dreadnought. You just didn't. Sometimes you jam it and you win, and I just happened to keep hands that didn't have much except for one, a way to deal with it to just keep the game going. I certainly wasn't going to try and force survival, just because I didn't think I was ever going to get it online.
yeah.
So yeah, during tournament ended up being, that's a really good Magic card.
That is a good Magic card. Yeah, some fun things going on with that too. Like, would you cast the same one like 3 times in a row, or something like that? Like 3 turns in a row in game 1. That was sweet.
Yeah, tried to. I mean, the stifle hurt, and then was at the game. I think I got powder keg that game too.
Yeah,
because I think I chose not to block any of them, just eat 12, and then I think the same turn you played the powder keg, wiped out all my tokens, all my Pegasus.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think if you hadn't attacked, you had the option of like trying to trade with the dreadnought. But yeah, I don't know how the game plays out there. Like if you just draw go. But yeah, it was a lot of interesting, intricate decisions.
I knew he had the 2 powder kegs in his deck. A trade there doesn't seem super optimal for me, given that I have Well Wisher online and I can buy. I don't know. I just tried to do the math real quick, and I thought I could buy enough time with a Well Wisher to come across if he didn't have anything out like another Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Obviously, that would have been game. But that was a fun one. That was a good game 1.
Yeah, it was very interactive. Like, I mean, when you start playing this Hermit, I was like, oh yeah, maybe I already lost, but I keep like pushing, and then got the win somehow. Of course, game 2 was impossible. It was just too much.
Yeah.
And I think I think in hindsight, I should have mulligan the hand on game 3, at least to have a gash or something or an answer. But I did mulligan the days out, so I mean at the side out the days. So yeah, in hindsight, I think I should have kept them at least 2 or 3, something like that, to have one.
Funny you felt like you were on the ropes game 1, because I felt like I was on the ropes game 1 even after I cast it. I guess it's a function of knowing what's in our hands, but yeah, I certainly felt like I was just going to take a couple of hits and die. It's a great match though. I think
I agree.
I think it's a fun one.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, and yeah, it's a good one to play. Do you guys have anything you want to add to the match, or is there anything? I think I don't know, Álvaro, if you're mathematically eliminated at this point. Maybe there's a possibility that things happen, but I don't know. But is there anything that either of you players wanted to say before we let you guys go?
Yeah, I just, this is in spite of just getting my ass handed to me in multiple weeks. This is such a fun event. Hoyt, you and Flint do such a good job with this. All the commentators and the players, like this is, I look forward to this every year. So it's a real honor and a pleasure to be able to play in it. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I say something similar because I feel like this is besides the monthlies, this is the most important and like relevant tournament we have online, and it's so well done from your side, Mike. So it's beautiful. Like it's something that really we every year we look forward to it, as Jeff said. So I think the community appreciates it. So thank you for it.
All right. With that, we'll let you guys go. We do have 2 more rounds for our last week before we cut to the top 4. So we still have to figure out who is going to take those remaining slots. But we will let Álvaro and Jeff go, and we will get things set up for our 3rd round. So don't go anywhere, viewers. We'll be right back.